And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. A little birdie told me that Hannibal and Monty were going to have Vaughn on their show tonight, so I thought maybe a little pre-show would be nice. I had originally planned to do a response afterwards, but I don't think I want to stay up that late. So, fill up the time to the top of the hour. Let's review what Vaughn said last night. He did a very long stream. A lot of you were there or saw it. Most of the stream was him chatting with Kamal, 1994, who we know, and it was like the last 3 hours of it. But early on in the stream, Vaughn and his reputable friends were having another little talk about ancestry and claims and things like that. So let's get started with that, and we'll just play a little snippet from yesterday, 5-4 stream. And we'll stop and comment as we go here. But let's see what Vaughn had to say last night. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm waffling back and forth on whether he's legit.
Oh, speaking about that, remember Vaughn? Remember who I showed you earlier? My friend?
Yeah.
And she actually has a card. So Todd Mellicote, pretty soon there's going to be a video.
Oh, there is.
Okay, someone she knows got, I assume, a Native American tribal membership card, and there's going to be a video. Let's find out why. Not sure why that would need a video, but let's find out.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yep, and she got her card. She
looks
like Vaughn.
I'm going to be put in my place because she knows someone that has a card. Did I make some sort of claim that no one can get a membership card or something? I'm not sure where that came from.
And she's Cherokee, and she has a card. And she got her card. She looks like Vaughn, and she's Cherokee.
Oh, okay. She looks like Vaughn, but she's Cherokee, and she got her card. So apparently now the claim I'm making is Vaughn doesn't look like a Native American, so he can't be one. Except I've never said that. In fact, I've been on the opposite side of this. I've said consistently you can't look at people and tell if they're any blood quantum of Native American. There's too many wide varieties of looks. So I've been the one saying you can't just look at somebody and tell if they're Native American, while Vaughn has been giving all kinds of examples of how you can tell by how he looks and things we don't want to get into. But we'll talk more about that as we go on.
And she has a card.
Man, I can't wait to get my DNA back. I can't wait to get my DNA back, and I turn out to be like, half Indian. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, wouldn't it be great?
That's gonna be great.
But here's the thing. I mean,
By the way, when you do these DNA tests, Ancestry.com, 23andMe, whatever, they don't say Indian. They don't even say Native American. They sure don't say what tribe you're from. At best, they'll say Indigenous Americans, which means you have some genetic material that lines up with markers that are typical for people native to this region. So, up yours, J-Dub. You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I got to kill this OBS screen, and we'll start her back up.
So, any moron can come down here and talk to locals down here and say, "Hey, is the Davidsons and the Frosts and the Chandlers, are they all from Chief Redbird?" They say, "Oh fuck yeah, they're from."
Well, you see, Vaughn, the problem is that's not how we establish ancestry, because what people in a community say and what urban legends and talk around the barbershop doesn't make you Native American. It's a claim, and it has to be substantiated. You don't seem to understand that.
From Chief Redbird. That's the end of the debate right there. Boom, done. It's done.
No, it's not the end of the debate.
But poor old Todd Mellicote, he's just going to keep on.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he's going to get reported. The authorities are going to come after his ass, and he's going to be like, "What the hell are you coming after me for?"
Because questioning someone's stupid claims that can be proven wrong makes me a criminal, I guess. Wow.
You don't run around disparaging people's native heritage, man. You don't fucking do that shit.
I'm not disparaging anyone's native heritage. I'm responding particularly to the claims you're making, which are bullshit.
It's like the native version of the ADL. Okay, you just don't do that.
Yeah, we're going to sit down and we're going to have actually go and see maybe next week. We're going to go see her parents that live here in this area.
Great.
If she gets comfortable with being online, then I'll do it online, or I can just do the video with her and just
super. What does any of that prove?
Well, like I said, I mean, you only need 20%. That's all you need.
That's another bullshit claim. It's different from tribe to tribe. Some of them have quantum blood requirements. Most of them don't. The Cherokee does not. If you can point to a Cherokee ancestor, you can apply for membership. You don't have to have any specific amount of native DNA or however you want to say it. My particular tribe, the Ponca Nation, requires 1/8. That would be a full-blood great-grandparent. But most of the tribes have released, because let's face it, the tribes are dying. People are interbreeding, and this blood is being bred out. So tribes want to get members. They want to get people in there that have some connection. But here's the problem, and the thing for you, Vaughn. You need to show some sort of connection to this tribe. And since you've never showed any interest and you're almost 60 years old, it's very unlikely that you would actually get approved for membership just at this later date, obviously just to get benefits. So quit the 20% bullshit. It's not a rule. In fact, none of them require 20%. Some of them require a quarter, as high as quarter. But that's I think the extreme end. Like I say, my native tribe requires 1/8, what they call a quantum blood level. You'd have to have a great grandparent that was full blood. Some of them require 16th, 32nd. Most of them, certainly the 5 civilized tribes, the Shawnee, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, the Creek, don't require any sort of blood quantum level. So let's just dispatch that right now. You're talking out your ass. You don't know what you're saying.
Just 20%, and you can go get your card and
no, you don't need 20% to get a card.
Whatever you want, get all the benefits, I guess, if there are any. I don't even know if there are any.
Shares in the casino.
Wow, that's not racist at all. If you can get a membership card, you get shares in the casino. No, that's not true anywhere either. The casinos, while sometimes on tribal land, and the monies in general go to the tribes, people don't get shares in the casino. That's a bunch of crap, and it's racist. And Vaughn, again, you would have to apply to the Bureau of Indian Affairs to determine your ancestry, and then the Cherokee would have to accept you. Whatever particular procedure they have, you would have to follow. And good luck with that, because you can't show any connection to the tribe at all for almost 60 years.
No, I'm serious.
And her family,
Oh, okay.
Her family was from the U.S. She was actually born. Well, she'll tell you her story, but she was actually born in Spain.
I'm caught in a lie. Oh my gosh.
Yes, you are, Vaughn.
Oh my gosh, I'm caught in a lie.
Caught
folks.
lots of lies.
Oh,
You're
Vaughn,
caught in a trap.
It's over. You're done.
We can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
That's what's annoying about Vaughn. He can't admit he lied.
You see what you're doing to me?
Stop singing.
What kind of lie am I caught in? Fake emo Hollywood.
That you're 65% native.
Tell me.
That's the lie.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, in her case, she's like 75% Native American, and right. I'm guessing like 25% because one of the parents is half Native American and half Spaniard.
Okay, that would line up, except that Spaniard is not a race. Latino, perhaps, but that lines up. If she had one parent that was full-blood Native American and one that's half Native American and half Latino, then the child would be 75%. So that's actually accurate, other than her saying Spaniard, which is stupid. Spanish, maybe. No, Spanish is a language, not a race.
Right. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I just showed you a video of a dude the other day. He looks white, but he's Latino, but he looks like a white dude.
And once again,
Latino is all. I mean,
here we are again talking about what people look like, determining what they are, and it's just not true, Vaughn. And you're the one that always propagates this. Your big red member and your red skin and your high cheekbones and your big fat nose. You're the one who always says, because of what you look like, you're native. Stop it.
His last name is Rodriguez, for fuck's sake. He's a Latino, but he looks white. He looks like a white American, normal white American dude, What
does a normal white American dude look like? Because that's laced with problems too. If you're going to make that sort of assertion, let's back it up.
No, but he's not. He's Latino.
Mm-hmm.
But he's Latino.
You can't go by looks. You cannot go by looks.
But you just did.
And then,
you just did. And you've done this for years, Vaughn. You've gone by looks the whole time. Your fat nose, your big cock, whatever you want to call it. It's disturbing.
It's just like my husband. He looks a certain, like, you can't even tell that he's Latino when you look at him. You think he's something else. He literally looks like John almost, but with a little bit darker skin because he's been out in the sun a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like I said, man.
By the way, feel to come in.
And we're not supposed to do that anyway. You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover.
Well, that's what you do, Vaughn.
Isn't it funny how liberals don't go by their own beliefs?
And this is the typical Vaughn / his friends line. We're going to shift the goalposts. We're not going to shift the goalposts. We're going to project what we do onto your side. Isn't it typical how liberals don't follow their own edicts? Well, you know what? I've been the one consistently saying you can't look at people and see what they are or see if they have native heritage or any other sort of heritage. You're the one doing that, and you always have been. So stop it.
Ethos, yeah. They don't follow their own ethos. Exactly right.
Like, look at me. When people first look at me, what do I look like? Do I look like I'm mixed or do I look like I'm Puerto Rican?
Or can't tell.
At least you do to me.
A lot of people think I look like I'm Puerto Rican.
I guess you can go for
but see, I could be biased about that because I'm mixed, so maybe I'm biased.
No,
and I shop at the Latino store, so.
Oh yeah, that's not racist at all. Yeah, Vaughn, you're mixed in the way that we're all mixed. That we're all a product of our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents' genetics. So sure, you're mixed. You've got you've got parts of things, but you're not mixed in the way you say. And that's what I've been disputing consistently and what I'll continue to dispute.
Of course, they come up to me.
We don't need no stinking badges.
Speaking to me in Spanish, and they were like,
stinking badges.
They come up to me
Vaughn, do you have a red man card?
No, I don't.
Vaughn, do you have a red man card? Wow. And now he's going to explain why he doesn't have a red man card.
You don't have a red man card?
Like I said, okay. If
all
somebody
Native
told
Americans get a card, is that true?
Why? Okay, look.
Is that he asks the stupidest questions. All Native Americans can get a card. That's somewhat true. There are certain tribes that have a blood quantum requirement. Most of them don't. But the thing is, every tribe has their own particular way of determining membership. And one of the things that's usually very important to tribes is you have some sort of connection. Not that you're an older man that just wants to establish that it's just not something you do. I got mine when I was like 7, 8 years old because my grandmother took me to powwows and she took me to the tribal lands and she introduced me to people and showed me things from her childhood. That's a connection to the tribe as a young person. You don't have any of that, Vaughn. So no, you're probably not going to get a card because you can't just walk into any old tribe, which good luck finding a Cherokee office in Kentucky, to try to apply for this. It just doesn't work that way.
Somebody had told me this shit when I was 20 years old. Yeah, I probably would have signed up and go sat in the fucking teepee and sweated my fucking balls off.
Oh, that's so amazingly offensive. There's no ritual. There's no rite you have to go through. This is not like the Klingon pain stick ritual where you have to walk through and get stabbed with a cattle prod. You don't have to sweat in a teepee. You have to establish your ancestry and establish a connection to the tribe. That's it. It's not a burden for anyone. You're making me sick with your racism.
And did all the shit that I'm required to do, right? If I was 20. But holy shit, man, I'm going to be 60 in 3 years. And it's like, why? Why bother?
Well, the why is because you could get some health care benefits and you could certainly get some college benefits for your children. But again, you really don't have any chance at this point, particularly the way you talk.
Who gives a crap?
Vaughn gives a crap.
There's not that much to it anyway. I mean, it's just like, okay, you're a Native American. Well, fuck me, I already know that.
Who cares what you are? If someone says they're Native American, who cares?
No. If someone says they're Native American, that doesn't mean they're Native American. There are ways we establish this. And again, I'm not claiming that Vaughn doesn't have some Native American in him. He probably does. What I'm disputing is the fact that he's 65% and that his mother's mother was 100%. Those are flat out lies, and they're not tolerable to people that have a connection to this sort of thing. Hi, Paulie. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, bud. Sorry I was muted.
No, you're fine.
Little pre-show excitement, huh?
Yeah, well, Vaughn's on Hannibal Monty tonight, so I thought I'd clear some things up before that happens. So. Be fresh.
I think there's plenty of things to clear up. I think you're doing a fine job, Todd. In fact, I brought just a little bit of. Let's see here. Holy crap! I can't hardly see what I'm doing. I brought a little backup for you.
All right.
I did show this last night. I did a little share screen here.
Yeah, I do recall that.
Everybody
Yeah.
can see this.
The
For anyone that
percentage. If I
didn't happen to see it, well, we're talking about Cherokee background here. We're looking at the latest census report from Manchester, Kentucky, the town where Helton lives. If we look here where it says Native American percentage of population. Now, if everybody can read that.
Yep, big old goose egg.
That's a big old goose egg. That's exactly what that is.
Yep. So that kind of helps ice it. I'm not
right. Pretty straightforward, right?
yeah, absolutely. Let's go back. Oh, let me get back where we can see and finish this. This stream's almost done, but I just want to get some little more racism.
You're a Native American. You could be whatever you want now. Men could be women. Women could be men.
Right.
We have people saying they're black. The Sean guy. What's his name?
It's Sean King.
Sean.
Yeah, and do people just outright accept that he's black, or do they demand some sort of accountability on that? I think the latter. Same with the native.
Yeah. Exactly. That's my point. John makes a good point right there too. If you can be wherever the hell you want to be, then even if Vaughn is not 100% Cherokee, he can be Cherokee. He identifies as Cherokee. Now leave it alone.
No, he can't just identify as a Cherokee, and nobody's claimed he's 100%. By the way, well, he used to, but that's not my side of the claim.
165.
Yeah, well, he used to be 165. He's been consistently 65 lately because he found out on Amazon.com. But anyway, let's finish this a little bit up.
Yeah, he identified.
If you can identify as a male or a female, and you're not either of those, or you can identify as being like having a non-sex, I'm not even sure what the hell that's called.
Yeah,
but you can. There's people that identify as aliens and stuff like that. Like,
I identify as a duck-billed platypus. There we go.
Vaughn is
appropriate.
Vaughn is a Native American pagan. That's what he identifies as. That's it.
Well,
that's right.
I identify as a butterfly unicorn.
You know, even that, a Native American pagan, I could live with that if that was his claim. But that's not his claim. His claim is he has a 100% maternal grandmother and that he's 65%. And those are both flat-out lies. And I've proven it.
That's it.
You have to respect. You have to respect. These people need to learn to respect who you identify as. That's it. Bottom line.
How dare you genderize me?
You're gonna be a Karen. You got to stop being a Karen.
Yeah, stop being a Karen.
Oh, I love those cartoons.
He can't help but being a Karen. I mean, he's leftist, right? He can't help it.
I'm leftist.
Can't help it, man. He can't help it. But yeah, I mean, eventually,
Jim.
Yeah, that's the end of that one. That was all the tidbits about the native ancestry from last night. I guess I'm a Karen because I demand when he says he's 65% of something that he has something to back that up with.
At least evidence, right? Like, even if you can't prove it, just establish some fucking evidence.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get back a little bit to the whole how do you know you're native because you look a certain way? Because a lot of you are going to remember this stream from just a couple days ago with Vaughn trolling Mama out there.
That vein, in that vein.
Let's see how Mama determined that her mother was Native American.
So you'll probably automatically be muted, but if not,
all right.
Listen for the leading questions here.
It won't take but a second. It's a
leading
short
questions.
Video. It's not very long at all. So
maybe I'm related to Joe Biden.
Hey, maybe.
Oh no, because he's supposed to be Irish.
Some idiot on the internet is saying that ain't no Cherokee Indian in our family, that we're not Cherokee Indian, and they dug up an old census from 1910 to 1930.
By the way, he's already lying to his mother because he's claiming that I'm saying, some idiot on the internet is saying he's not Cherokee, and we're not Cherokee, or we don't have any Cherokee in us. Never said that. Not my claim.
That has your mom, a full-blooded Cherokee Indian,
she's not
registered as a white person on the census.
Well, she was colored. I mean,
she was an Indian, right?
She was an Indian.
But why do they have her listed as a white person?
Because her skin wasn't much different than mine.
Really, Alice? That's why she's listed as white on the census?
She was colored.
Yeah, she was colored. Maybe this is why she was listed as white on the census. If I can share this other screen. Remember this little tidbit? Yeah, that's the instructions given to the enumerators who lived in these towns, who were part of the communities that they counted And it says right there, a person of mixed white and Indian blood should be returned as Indian, except where the percentage is very small. And we're talking, remember here, about a 100% Cherokee princess. And for some reason, we just got to write her down as white. Now, maybe in Clay County.
Very small at the time was like 0.125. We're talking eighths.
Yeah, and we'll go through that a little bit here in a minute too before we finish. But I want to finish this video from a couple nights ago because, boy, the racism is stunning here. Let me get that back up. There we go. Finish this out real quick.
But she was still full-blooded Indian.
According to what we were told, and she knew that she was Indian.
Do you remember her Indian name?
No, because she didn't have one.
I do not.
Okay. All right. So that's the end of that shit. All right.
It's not.
Are we done now? I hope.
That's the end of that. Oh yeah. I mean,
the end of that. Hopefully we're done now with this shit.
You shouldn't feed the trolls, though. The only thing about that, Vaughn, is, if the trolls say things, you don't have to, put people out there.
The reason I posted is because I wanted to prove that Todd Malicote was a lying piece of shit.
Yeah,
see, everybody down here, and I mean everybody down here, knows that the Frosts and the Chandlers were Cherokee Indian.
Okay, remember that. The Frosts and the Chandlers on his mother's side were the Indians. And I'm a lying piece of shit because I say he's not meeting his burden of proof on his claims. Never said he's not part Native American, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But I'm a lying piece of shit because I'm just supposed to accept that he's 65%, and his grandmother was 100%, which doesn't work out anyway because that makes him 25%, unless you can show some other ancestry on the way there, and you can't because everybody's white. Even when Carrie Chandler was a child, her family was listed as white. And if she was 100%, her parents were both 100%. So you got a whole family of people back in, say, 1890 listed as white by the census in this tiny town in Ohio. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, enough of that one. I do have some good news for Vaughn. I don't know how good news this is going to be for him, but I did a little more research on Ancestry. And this is going to be exciting. Here's our boy again. Went a little farther up the totem pole, if you can pardon my parlance there. We've seen this before. There's Irv, his father. Here's Farmer, his grandfather. And here's Shadrach, his great-grandfather. There's no significant percentage of Native American DNA in any of that, which we've gone over this before. But let's go a little farther up. Here's a name that came up, the Brocks. Somebody mentioned in a stream I did a couple days ago that the Brocks do come from Chief Redbird. So I went a little farther. This would be his great-great-grandmother, mother of Shadrach. Here's Catherine's parents, his great-great-great-grandparents, Hiram Brock and Elizabeth Saylor. Again, if you do a little digging on them, they're just white on the census as well. But look at Hiram's parents, James and Elizabeth. Still white folk, as far as we can tell. But as we get a little farther up, James's dad, Jesse Hungry Fox, and I can't really pronounce the Indian name, but Brock Sr., and above him, his father, there's our buddy, Chief Redbird. So Vaughn was a little bit right. Vaughn is descended from Chief Redbird. And we don't have a ton of time. We have about 15 minutes before Hannibal Monty go. A little research. There's some stories on Chief Redbird here. That he was
just so we're clear, that's like 8 generations, right?
Yeah, this is about 8 generations, right?
And we're talking one descendant in 8 generations.
And here's the really funny thing:
most would be like 64th, then, right? I mean,
yeah, we'll get there. We're gonna go backwards, and we're gonna determine this. But Chief Redbird himself was only half Cherokee. He had a white mother. And I went on farther to show some of those. And actually, no, I lied. He's both of his parents were 50%, because this is Chief Big Eagle, Great Eagle, that was Redbird's father, had you can see Lord Brock from England, not native at all, married a Cherokee woman in the States. So Chief Great Eagle here is 50%. Same thing over here on his wife. This was, no, I lied. They're both native. His wife was full blood. So we got a 50% and 100%, which makes I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say Redbird was 75%.
I think that's fair.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt. And his wife, Susanna Pryber, there's some dispute to that, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say she was 100%. There is some doubt, and I looked into her ancestry a bit. This is interesting that her mother was a Shawnee, that's for burnt toast, and her father a Cherokee. Not sure they were both full blood. There's not a ton of information, but to give Vaughn the benefit of the doubt, let's say 75% and 100% right here, which makes this child
87.5%.
Yeah. This was 7/8 right here is a Hungry Fox. Rebecca Howard is a white woman. I'm not going to go into it. Take too long to show you all the details. Not native born. So now we're down to, and let me run a calculator here because I did this before. We were at 87.5%. So you've got James Brock at 43.75, a little under half. Oh, I got to get up here. And let's go back down to his ancestry. And I got to open this up. James Brock married a white woman, Elizabeth Saylor. No indications of any kind of native blood, but just to round off, I'll be fair and call Hiram 48%. Let's assume that
7:30 seconds now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to go with 48% because it's easy. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that one of these women was full blood Indian. I'm going to go that far, because I can't prove they weren't. So we'll say this.
Kind, sir.
I'm being as kind as I can be. We're going to say Hiram Brock is 48%. Just give him a little nudge up, assuming certainly wouldn't have been more than that. It could be a lot less. It could be like 24%. But that makes it easier to divide, because then you have Jesse here at 24%. Catherine being, again, you can research this, but she's white as white can be. Shadrach, his great grandfather, 12%. Married a white woman, Lucretia Taylor. There's no other native indications in any of this, and we've gone through this in other videos. But 12%, 6%, his daddy at 3%, and our buddy Irv down here is left with 1.5% native DNA on his father's side. I'll give him 1.5 on his mother's side. He said that's where all the native was. But you can go through these folks, and they were not native born. You can go up a ton of generations there. You're not going to find a Chief Redbird. So he's terribly confused. Chief Redbird is on his father's side. Not the Chandlers, not the Davidson. It's the Brocks.
So at 8 generations, we're still at 1/64th is the very best.
At the very best, 1.5%, which is probably 160.
So maybe he's got fractions and percentages mixed up, and maybe he meant 1/60.
165th, not 65%. Yeah, that's it. Well, good news for you, Vaughn, because the Cherokees don't require a blood quantum level. You could apply for membership. You have definitely a Cherokee ancestor, unless, in fact, you have several. So you've got that going for you, buddy. You want to go get that card? Be my guest. Apply to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. You can use my research. Tell him you're related to Chief Redbird and Chief Great Eagle, and go get that card. Good luck to you, sir. Anyway, that's all I wanted to throw out there.
Todd.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. Chief Redbird isn't his lineage. He was right about that. He was just right. He was wrong about what side of the family it comes from, which I find very interesting.
That's sad, bro.
He wants to claim that it's the Frosts and the Chandlers. And the Frosts and the Chandlers, at least for about 6 generations, don't have any native blood.
I was not aware of the Brocks being in his bloodline, though. But
Yep.
I mean, that's common knowledge. Chief
Yep.
Redbird and the Brock family.
Yep, and that's where it comes from. And then above that, you see old Lord Nelson up there from England. That's interesting because he always claims a Germanic history.
I know, right?
I want to go back a little farther there and see what's going on. Yeah, there's Crash. It was actually 1.42%. Maybe that's what he meant. We'll go with that. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of Hannibal Monty's way. Paulie, thanks for coming. We'll do this again.
Absolutely.
The more stupid things he says, the more fun videos I get to make. So, goodbye, everybody. Go to see Hannibal Monty. I'll see you there.
All right.